I'm connected now. So you have two people waiting in the waiting room. Hello. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. This is my first time doing a Zoom. I usually use Google Meet, like we are in the school. So hopefully everything will go fine.
Gotcha. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay, great. We are using Zoom quite frequently here. I'm a nurse with Tulane University. In fact, we had Zoom meetings all morning. So.
Okay. So if I have a question, I can ask you.
Hopefully, yeah.
Practiced. I mean, you know, it's all the same basic from one platform to the next, so I think it should be okay. But if there is something, I know I have one person I can ask.
No problem.
So could you maybe, it would be helpful to tell me like who is your children, since we have a little bit of time before everybody gets here.
Certainly. My niece actually is a new student at Lycée, and I am working closely with her mom as far as her education. I'm a nerd in the family, so it's kind of we agree on that. So I'm academic.
When is she starting?
So she'll be starting 4th grade in the fall.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
If I have other like parents or guardians who are here, who want to just tell me briefly, like which grade your kid is in. That way I kind of have an idea already.
Give you one moment. I'm just going to handle it. I'll return in just a minute.
That's if you want. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, my son is Oliver Sorsett. He's entering kindergarten.
Okay.
And so we're new to it all. We don't speak French in the house or anything, and so it's sort of a new experience for us, but we're a multilingual, multinational kind of family, you know, throughout our cousins and grandpas and grandmas and stuff. We're all over. So we just like the idea of, you know, expanding language and things like that. So we were very lucky and happy to get in.
So is it's your son, right? You said?
Yes. Oliver, and then we is a young.
Is he going into 1st grade next year?
Kindergarten.
He's going into kindergarten, so he's a new student.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
And hello, my name is Jeffrey Daniels. My son is Gavin Daniels. He's going to 2nd grade.
Okay.
And then our youngest son is going to pre-K 4.
Okay, great. So you got a spot?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, awesome.
Thank you.
I know it's difficult to get in.
Yeah, but I'm good. I'm pleased. I'm pleased.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to wait just a couple more minutes. I have people arriving. Okay, so for now we have 4th grader, 1 kindergartner, 1 2nd grader, 1 pre-K 4. Hi, Yolanda, could you, I don't know, I think you might have an audio, but if you'd, okay with your audio, maybe you can let me know what grade is your child or your children at least say, if it's working. Or you can type, you can put it in the chat box if you want. So, but thanks everyone for being here. I'm just going to start on time because I'm going to take advantage that it's only a few of us, so we can tackle as many questions as possible. So this is a first, so we'll see how it goes, and then, you know, it's supposed to repeat other weeks. Oh, okay, thanks, Yolanda. And you know, so I think since so far it's only like you know, 5 of us or 4 of you, you can either if you're comfortable, just ask me a specific question, or like put it in the chat box if you have some issue with the audio, or if you're just more comfortable talking with the chat box. We have a big variety, so you know, I guess I'll just try to answer some of the questions you might have. So I think Jilly and Jeff, I think you were first. So Jilly, maybe you wanna go ahead and start.
I actually don't have any specific questions. I was just hoping to sort of sit in and get some information, and okay, if anything were to develop from that point.
Which I can do also. I can definitely go over some of the resources. Let me. Does any of you have a urgent question right now? Any of the parents or guardians that's here? No. So so let me look. I have a pre-K, I have K, I have 2nd, 4th, and Yolanda, you had let me double check, 5th grade and 7th grade. So it's a bit all over the place. So of course, you know, I'm not gonna recommend, so I'm not gonna recommend the same thing for, you know, a pre-K 4s and for a 7th graders, obviously. So just let me, the goal of this session was just to like maybe go over some resources that you could do over the summer. You know, this is not really schoolwork. This is just like to gain some exposure with French language. So what I can do is for pre-K and K, I can, I'm just gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna show you a few things. So the parents, for pre-K, we did not send any summer resources for incoming parents, so we don't have anything. For incoming kindergartners, we sent something to our current families, so I don't know if they share that with you. I mean, Jilly, I don't know if your sister got or your brother, I don't know. I mean, basically if your niece got the information, but
I've gotten summer reading and stuff. We share the an email account that allows us access.
Oh, okay.
To,
okay. So let me just pull it up then. So I'm going to do screen share, and I'm going to go to. This one, yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to go to the summer assignments, and I'm just going to comment on some of those if it lets me. Okay. So sorry. Once again, I'm sorry, this is my first time using Zoom, so I will try to. Okay, rising kindergartners. So I'm just going to open it and you know, go over some of the main recommendations. So from what we submitted, we just encourage parents to, like, if you can, have about, like, you know, would be great to have about a minimum of 10 minutes of exposure to French language. So that's just about exposure. So some of the resources that are recommended by the pre-K4, I mean, this is the pre-K4 team that created those resources. A lot of it is songs, which, you know, I think that's a really great way. So like this is, no, those are books actually, but like Le Monde des Titounis, this one, this is songs. So, you know, this is great to like watch a few songs. I'm just gonna, maybe I'm gonna go, one of my favorite websites to listen to French book, and this can be, this is not necessarily just for pre-K, for K, or this can be used by, I know we have like a second grader, parents of a second grader, and maybe up to fourth grade. This is L'École des Loisirs. So I'm just gonna click on it, unless I have it open already. I'm just gonna click on it to show you what it looks like, because I know what's a little bit difficult, a lot of the websites are French, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to navigate them. So, and then please feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions, if you want me to repeat something. Because I know I'm familiar with most of those websites and they might be new to you. So, you know, if something is unclear, I'm more than happy to repeat. So this is like a website that's called École des Loisirs. École des Loisirs is a very famous publisher for French books in French. So, and then during COVID, they actually put a bunch of resources for free, because they also have, you know, resources, but you have to pay for them. So those are the free one. It's kind of great. Those are the different themes they covered. So you kind of have to pick your which author you feel inspired with. So I'm gonna, you know, my kids like dogs, so I'm gonna go with the dog here. So I'm gonna click on the dogs, or I'm gonna click voir l'activité here. Hopefully this is a good one. So, okay, sorry. See, so this one is not a good example, so I'm going back. Hold on, I'm sorry. I should have pulled up one ahead of time. That's working. I'm just going to pick the first one. Okay. I'm going to click this one. Okay, so here, so I'm on this page. At the top of the page, you're going to have a lot of it is going to be activities, or like coloriage is coloring. You know, those are not necessarily going to be activities where you're going to hear French. But if you scroll down all the way at the bottom, hopefully this one has, they don't all have it, but like usually, okay, you have recorded books. So this one is just a podcast. So this means it's going to be this book that's read aloud, okay? So usually what I like better with like pre-K and K students is when I have the video of the book. So I'm going to go back and try to go find another one. I'll pick, I know I have this one. Let me pick the one that, where I know they have it. Let's try this one, Une journée avec Lolotte. Okay, so that same thing, you have a lot of activities at first, which are great to do. I mean, I strongly encourage you to, you can click on and do the activities, those are great. It's just not gonna be, sometimes it's gonna be like a math activity, so it's not necessarily gonna be language specific. Okay, and here, for example, I have two books that are read aloud. So all you have to do is click on it, and then you're gonna have the book. You can see that this book is 2 minutes and 55 seconds. And this one is actually just a podcast. So if I click on the book, hopefully the sound will work.
Lolotte et le polochon, de Clotilde Delacroix.
Okay, then it's just gonna read the book aloud in French, which is a really great way to listen to it. So my recommendation would be when you, if you have, and this is not the only sites, I'm gonna maybe show a few more websites where you can find French books that are read aloud. This one is specifically well done because this is the publisher. My recommendation is to watch that book more than once. you know, watch it more than try to watch it at least twice, because you always have to remember, even if your kid has been at the school for, you know, several years, French is still a foreign language. So usually the first time you listen to something, you kind of don't know what to expect. So it's really good for comprehension to listen to it at least twice. For our new students, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to pick up that many words. However, they might still, you know, especially with the younger kids' books, it's a lot of repetitive words a lot of times. So what I strongly encourage you to do is, like, maybe if you're watching the video with your kid or somebody else is watching, even if it's a brother and sister, they can just try to like pick up a few words and just repeat them. Just trying to make the sounds with their mouth. That would be like, that's a really good exercise, and that will help, you know, memorize some of the words. I'm gonna go back to, okay, hold on, to my tab right here. Okay, so that was for pre-K, so that was l'école des loisirs. The Tagatas Toin Toin on YouTube, it's also a lot of books that are read aloud. Those are great. This is like one of the favorite websites of our pre-K4 teachers. They love it. The tone of voice by the adults reading the books is really good. So see, like, one of the recommendations too is, like, as you're watching, then, so watch it twice, watch it at least twice, and then you can just pick your favorite character, just so you kind of create, like, you create a meaning with the book that the, you know, that the child just read. So my basic recommendation is really, like, don't just like watch the video, try to have a little kind of like a mini follow-up activity. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but like, just, you know, if you can say one of the words you recognize, or if you want to draw something, or, you know, if you even like understood a full sentence and you want to say it, or you just want to tell somebody that's next to you, even if it's in English, what you liked about that story you just watched. Those are like really great way to get your kid more engaged in watching the story. They also here have some Monsieur Madame. I know, like, the Monsieur Madame, it's usually a big hit with the kids. You know, they have lots, like, I would strongly encourage to draw the Monsieur or the Madame, or the Mr. or the Mrs. that they liked in the stories. They are super fun. So that's something that works great. Le Monde des Titounis, same, this is like a YouTube channel, and you have a lot of things there. You have lots of videos, songs, games. They do like several French vocabulary game. I'm just going to show you the one about the alphabet quickly. So I'm sharing. Okay. So if you click on the link you get here, and I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. Oops, sorry. Okay. If you have kids, it can get, like, my kids love it, and it can get a little bit, oops. It can get a little bit annoying because they watch it over and over and over. Can I scroll down? Yes. Okay. So if you scroll down a little bit, you're gonna see some activities that are more a little bit more specific. So I understand, you know, you, like, most of you don't speak French, but sometimes, you know, you can see if you have the word alphabet here, it's gonna be a video that focuses on the alphabet. Chiffre is actually digits. So this one is gonna be really about the alphabet and numbers. So if you just want to practice in pre-K, K, I mean, even first grade, I know we don't have any first graders, but, you know, that's a good one right here. And I think I'm almost, okay, I'm just going to continue, and then I'll go to another list. So Bua Equala is a super cute little website with lots of French resources. It's really easy to navigate, even if you are a non-French speaker. It's kind of like you have, it's a little bear and a little koala, and you just kind of click. It's really easy. This one is easy to navigate. Okay. So I'm going to kind of explain Logiciel Éducatif, because the Logiciel Éducatif is actually a really good website for most grade levels. So I think it will apply to most of you who are on this call. So if I'm going to click on it, And okay, so the first thing to know when you get there, you have to pick your the level. So maternelle is going to be pre-K and K. So if your kid is in maternelle, you're going to want to click on, you know, maternelle. And then I'm not sure if you familiar with the French grades, but then CP is the equivalent of first grade, CE1 is second grade, CE2 is third, CM1 is fourth, CM2 is fifth. And then collège is actually not, you know, it's middle school. So I know we have a second grader parent. So I'm going to click on CE1, which is second grade. So if you don't remember, that's okay. Maternelle is like pre-K and K, and then you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then collège is 6 and up, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to pick second grade CE1. Oops, okay. Yes, okay. So then here, oops. Oh no, wait, I went back to CP. Let me go back, sorry. So CE1. So here you can see I'm on the right page. It says CE1. And then on the left part here, you have the different topics, the different school topics. So you have mathématiques, and then they're going to have calcul, numération, géométrie, problème, grandeur et mesure. So those are like the different areas. And then for français, you're going to have lectures. So that's son is phonics. Lecture, so they're going to have some little text to read. And then conjugaison grammaire is more like spelling, I mean conjugation and grammar. Son is also phonics. And orthographe and vocabulaire are going to be more about spelling. So this website, Logiciel Éducatif, is a very interesting website, and like you have a lot of activities. It is just sometimes a little bit, I think, complicated, maybe if you're not a French speaker. So I'm still going to try to demonstrate an example. So let's see, I'm a second grade and I want to work on calcul. I'm going to pick the first one. So, okay. So here I get in the page calcul, so you don't want to click on this one. And then you're going to have all of the activities, okay? So if you have no idea what it's about, my recommendation is also, which if you are a current parent at lycée, that's something I had recommended earlier when we went into the distance learning. I strongly recommend using Chrome and adding the Google Translate extension. So I think like you can all see my screen, and like on the top right here, I have the Google Translate extension. So like if I click on it, I can translate this page. Okay, and then it's going to translate all of the, you know, all of the little game names. So it's not a perfect translation. It is a Google Translate translation. So sometimes it's not accurate, but it kind of gives you, you know, an idea. So like now I know that the first one is about, you know, halves and doubles. So maybe that's not something I want to do. Oh, alors, the account is good. It doesn't really tell you what it is. It's a sort of game. It's actually a pretty good game where, so I'm going to click on it. So then each time it takes a little bit. I hope it's going to work. Start now. Oh, nope. Sorry. Don't want to do that. Is it going to work? Okay. Okay, so then usually take just a little bit of time because it needs to upload. Okay. So sometimes I'm not even sure myself about the rules, but it's okay, you know, plus usually the kids, they figure out quicker than us. So I'm going to do d'affilée. Okay. Okay, so I have this number here, 37, and I'm supposed to, you know, get as close as possible with those numbers. So, you know, I mean, then you drag, oops, no, I click on it, and then you pick whatever you want, 4 plus 9 equal 13, etc., etc. So that's logiciel éducatif. Maybe I know Jeff, since you also have, I'm just gonna show a maternelle for a little bit. So sorry, I had my thing here. So maternelle is donc pre-K and K, and same thing. You have a lot of games. that you can do. So pre-French, which means like it's basically pre-reading activities. Honestly, all of those are really great. So I strongly encourage you to do a lot of those. They're very good. Mathematic too. So, and then, you know, then are going to be puzzles and coloring that are not really language specific necessarily. Do you guys have any questions about Logiciel Éducatif, which is the website I'm on right now? No? Okay. So this is good. It's just like I said, it can be a little tricky to navigate. Okay, and I'm going to finish with pre-K and K. So toupti.com, it's like it says here, interactive activities to practice letters and number. Lulu la taupe, this is also something that's a really good website to also to practice like pre-literacy skills and to review your numbers in French. Here, I think it's good to follow the recommendations that the teacher gave, like just do one activity, and that's sufficient usually. Usually, you know, kids like to do it over and over. So if you pick one, I think that's good enough. And then they gave a few websites for stories. Those are podcasts. So same thing. Try to listen to the podcast at least twice. Of course, if you know your child wants to do it more than 2 times, I strongly encourage that as well. But I think a minimum of 2 times is better, because the first time it's really hard to focus on the story. And then, you know, once again, can they say what words can they recognize? Can they repeat? Can they tell you? You know, maybe they, if you're also new to French, that's a good way maybe to see like who recognize the most words, and kind of like have a little maybe family competition about who recognize the most words in the story. Okay, and then Masha and Mishka and Petit Ours Brun are like YouTube channels, sorry, here, that are very, very popular. And then they usually like get the kids very engaged in watching the cartoon in French. Same advice as earlier, you know, like try to talk about it a little bit immediately after. Is there one word that they understood? What did they say at the end of the story? Maybe they said au revoir, or, you know, something where like they're really active when they're watching. And then those were just general recommendation, but since I have like a pre-K4 and a K, you know, K families in here, those videos are actually great. They are about having good, you know, having the good, sorry, I'm not showing it well, but like having a good grip with your pencil. Those were recommended by our occupational therapist at the school. So if you notice that maybe your child is not like having like a really good a grip with the pencil, I strongly encourage you to watch those videos. The third one here has a little like song that goes with the video, so that's a really good way, you know, to reinforce some good manner or good position with the grip. And those are just general ideas to work on fine motor skills, because a lot of time, if the grip is not good, it's because sometimes you just need a little bit more muscles in those little tiny fingers. So, you know, just doing like more Play-Doh, just doing anything that can make those little finger works is great. I can think of the word, if you have like in English. Anyway, can't remember, but in the YouTube here, you have lots of ideas where you can practice your fine motor skills. Okay, I'm gonna go maybe in the other grade level. So if the pre-K, for pre-K 4 and K, do you have more specific questions? No? Okay, so Jeff, I know you also have a second graders, and I think we had another person who joined us, and I didn't ask which grade were you kids in. It's your Zoom nickname is Rooster690. If you wouldn't mind sharing, like either in the chat or if you want to unmute yourself and tell me like what age group are your kids, or which class are they going to be on next year, so I know how I can maybe answer some of your questions or go over some specific resources. No? Okay, well, I'm Jeff, are you still here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm still here.
Okay, so maybe I'm gonna go a little bit more into second grade resources, because I think that's what you're interested in, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so second grade, especially this year, since we had a shorter year, you know, my recommendation for the summer is definitely going to be, we're going to look at the phonics. We're going to look at the phonics website that the French teachers recommended. So this is like the resources that the first grade teachers put together. The first one that they put is Lalilo. I don't know if you're, I'm sorry, is it your son or a daughter?
Son.
A son, okay. So they use this website while you know, months ago when we were at school, they were using that. They were using it during distance learning. So I don't know if your son is familiar with it, or maybe if you are.
It looks to me, I know Madame Benedict sent home, I mean, we did the distant learning. I may not have been familiar with the name of the program, but...
Okay, so what I'm going to do, since like you're not sure, I'm just going to show you just a little bit how it works, okay?
Okay, sure.
So I'm going to click on it. And, oops, I don't have a login. Zut. So I didn't, sorry, because I'm not sure if I have I think I do have a login, sorry. So I'm a teacher. Okay, yes, I do have a login. Okay, so the thing is, for me, I am on the, I'm on the teacher's side, so that's not a good example, actually. Can I do student view? Okay. Okay.
Bienvenue sur Lalilo. Clique sur ta classe pour commencer.
Okay, so this is what it says. So I'm going to pick whatever class. I'm going to go in Julie's class, which is
Clique maintenant sur ton nom.
Okay. So I'm just going to click on the demo. Okay. And actually, if
Bienvenue aventurier. Prêt pour l'expédition? Tout d'abord, un petit entraînement pour que l'on sache où tu en es dans l'apprentissage de la lecture. Concentre-toi et fais au mieux pour que l'on puisse t'accompagner dans les mondes de Lalilo. Quand tu es prêt, clique sur « C'est parti ».
Okay, so you just have to click. Well,
Écoute bien et clique sur ce que tu entends.
Okay, so this is actually a diagnostic task just to see where, you know, how far the kid is. So, but it's going to be the same principle for the other one. So you listen to it. So if you want to repeat it, you click on the little mouth right here.
Écoute bien et clique sur ce que tu entends.
Okay. Okay, so they repeat it. If I want, you can click as many times as you want. So you have to find the letters that sound So well, I know it. So it's this one.
I.
And then it's going to go through the letters of the alphabet. So I don't want to show you all of it, but then let me go back. Okay. Then it's going to be a little path like that. And as your kid does, you know, more and more activities, they're going to move along on that path right here. So it's a really good, I think, you know, that would be a really good, that's something really good to do over the summer, because It's good to listen to the phonics in French, you know, like as you know, many of the sounds in the language are different. And what's great on this website is you can just like repeat the sound as often as you want. And then it becomes a little bit more complex as you move along. And then the sounds, you're going to have some consonant as well. So it's a really, really good website. So I'm gonna
Bienvenue sur Lalilo.
I'm gonna
Clique sur
exit.
ta classe pour commencer.
Okay, I don't want it anymore. Oops. I'm gonna close it here. So I'm gonna go back to the second grade recommendations. So Freckles is for math. So if you have a kid that likes doing math, this is a really good, it's in English. So you won't have any issue like understanding how the website works. So it's good practice to do Freckles. So I go back. This is Logiciel Éducatif. This was the website I was just presenting. So I'm just going to show you again which one you would pick for. Actually, I showed you, yeah, for second grade. So I click on it, and for second grade, I would put, actually, sorry, that's something I should have said. I would definitely pick first grade because it's a rising second grader, but right now it's still a first grader. And on top of that, you know, like our students are not French native. So I would definitely actually pick the first grade one. And on the first grade one, you're gonna have also a lot of mathematical games right here. And then I'm just gonna go in the French. And here with the French, so I'm gonna click Lecture Son, which would be my recommendation here, because this is gonna be also about phonics. And you have so many games about the alphabet. So listening to the letters of the alphabet and picking the corresponding one. This is just a really, really good website. And it's very like, it's a lot of games. So they're reviewing their phonics or their alphabets, but they're not really, you know, they don't really realizing that they're doing any schoolwork. So this is really great. So this is really good for first grade, actually. Okay. Logiciel éducatif. L'école des loisirs is the one with where they had I presented earlier, where you can listen to a book. And then actually those are like the teachers' cahier de vacances, which is like the kind of like schoolwork they can do. And I think they added just Histoire en français. It's one story that you can listen to, you know, here's it put at least 3 times. I think at least twice is good. And, you know, entering into second grade, your son should be able to identify some of the words. And I really would encourage him to like say the words to you, or maybe since he has a little brother, right?
Yes.
Brother, or if he has his little brother, he can just teach his little brother. I think it's great when you have siblings because you can kind of like use them to kind of like teach one another. So I would definitely use my older siblings to like to kind of like try to teach some words to your pre-K4 next year. So I think that's all they have here. They have I really like having a journal. You know, I think you can start it even if you have you know, a very young student, like a pre-K4 students. So like we have a rising kindergarten students, that's also really good activities. The idea of the summer journal is just like it can be super simple. It's just super simple. It's just getting in your use of like producing something. So usually what I would ask a young student that's like in pre-K4, okay, or then, you know, like a rising second graders, is to draw something about your day. You know, draw something you did today, or draw something that you like doing today, or draw something you ate today. Just draw something, and then it's kind of up to you. I know because, you know, as English-speaking parents, it's harder, you know, to get into the French. So first, if your kid just wants to write something in English, I think that's great, because we also want to, you know, get into this habit of writing in whatever language. It doesn't really matter. But then if you, you know, let's say your kids grow that, you know, they played with the water outside today and they know one of the word in French, I would strongly encourage them to sound it out, sound the word in French. So like, for example, if they know it, so let's say it's, they call it piscine. If you have a bucket of water and they call it piscine, it's a pool. But you know, even if it's just a bucket of water and they don't use the correct word, it's okay. So if the word is piscine in French and they know it because it's possible they've talked about a piscine in first grade, I would just ask you know, my kid to like you know, sound it out. So p, I, s, I, n, and just try their best. It's okay if it's not accurate, but just try to write those sounds down. It's okay. At this point, we are not like looking for accuracy. I just think getting in the use of like hearing some sounds and putting them down on a paper would be great. And then if you want to go the next step and check how it's spelled and have them write the you know, the correct ways, that's great. But I think at this point, because we're still in the early stage for pre-K, 4K, and then still first grade going into second grade, just still getting in this habit of like going from what you can hear to what you can write is very important. For second, so going into second grade, maybe I'm just going to say, I'm going to scroll down to the English, even though I know I said I was going to talk mostly about French, but I still want to say, you know, like for second grade, it's really important to start getting into the habit of reading. So of course it has to be like age appropriate and it has to be like, I mean, basically first grade level at this point. But, you know, if you could just, if, you know, your son could just spend like a few minutes a day of a little bit of independent reading, just trying what he can do, that's great. Then you can do like, that's what they say here, shared reading. That's more like when you or like an adult or an older sibling, we can already read, can read the book for the kid. And that way you can, what's very important is to model the fluency. So sometimes, and I don't have a book to show you right now, but you know, sometimes, especially if you know, I know if we read in a foreign language, we tend to do that, like to kind of read slower, or you know. But here, when you model the reading, it's important that you to model the right fluency when you read the words. So basically, for you, you kind of read normally, because so some recommendation I would do when you do shared reading, especially I know I have like parents of younger children, like it's really good. And I don't have a book to show you, but like I have one. I mean, this is not a book, but this is like a picture journal of my son. You know, like don't hesitate to just, when you read, to point out the word. And I'm sorry if I'm like, this is very obvious and you're already doing that, but I think like I just want to repeat it because those are like really good habits and that really help the kids like sequence, when you read, to sequence into words, you know. So I would just encourage them to point out the words. I'm not going to go over all the recommendations from the ELA teachers, but also, you know, working on some of the sight words, you know, is great. So if you have flashcards, that's great. If you don't have flashcards, you can just, it's so easy. You can use whatever you have at home, a piece of paper. You can have, if you have construction paper and you want them to make them in color, that's just good to work on those sight words. And I think then it's the list. Yes. And then they have the list that they recommended. So that's for the ELA teachers, and then they have the list of sight words for you know, rising second graders. So Jeff, is there like any resources you would like me to go into more details?
No, not really. I was just kind of here for everyone else's questions too. You pretty much covered everything
Okay.
that I was wondering about with
Yes.
the email that was sent home. So I'm pretty good. Thank you.
Okay. So I have a few more websites I could show you guys. You know, if you're interested, I have one. So for lycée parents, like early when we went into distance learning, I had created, I'm just going to show it here. I had created this really big document that's called French Resources for Parents. It's a website that it's a document that links a lot, that has a lot of resources in French. And I've been like updating it as I found some new resources. So actually the one I just found that's really great is not on there. Where is it? I know I opened it. It's called Il était une histoire. I'm gonna go into the, actually it's not, because we had it's going to be too advanced. I'm sorry. It's going to be too advanced for second grade and for pre-K and K. So this is not very relevant. But if you look into that document, just going to show you, I think I already went over the one that were, you know, pre-KK, first, second specific. Just going to double check if I didn't forget about another one. Sometimes I've indicated like here for pre-K to second grade, those are like École des Loisirs. So those are like books that are, I mean, it's basically a video about the books, but those have like, you have to pay for them. Basically, they are not free. I'm checking, sorry, for pre-K and second. It's harder. Then you have some art activities here for second grade. That could be something, you know, that can be done. It's all, what's great, it's like, it's all in French. So it's an art activity, but you get to do it in French. So it's just great for language exposure. Those are a little bit hard. Okay, so yes, those are great actually. So let me click on this one. This one here, so it's called Children Books Forever. I'm going to click on it to show you. Those are books that are available in French. So I'm going to click on it. It's just, the thing is like, it's just a book. So if you don't have any French books at home, you can try to read it sometime. So then you just have to click, you know, and you have the pages, you know. So it's pretty good because it's like, it's a PDF of the book basically. So if you feel courageous enough, you can read it. Sometime what's good is that you can find, if you type the title in YouTube, you can find somebody that reads the book in French. So that works pretty well. Okay, let me go back, and I think I'm almost at the bottom of the document. Yes, because this is mostly going to be for for a little bit older children. Jeff, if your kids like science, here are some really great websites in French about science. So this one, like, because it's from first grade to ninth grade, it's just like, you know, it's videos about the ocean, and you can see videos about fish, you know, it's really good. All the one on STEM here, I would strongly recommend them if you have a kid that's interested with more like scientific activity. I always tend to go with books because that's, you know, that's what I liked and that's what my kids like the most, but I know some kids like more the STEM side of it. And then if you go like toward the bottom, you're gonna have like more platforms that are, you know, with French movies or French cartoons, basically. I know I didn't say it, but if you have Netflix, or if you have Amazon Prime, or, you know, like those platforms, you can always put the settings in French for a lot of cartoons, and a lot of cartoons, or, you know, kids movies, they have the option to have it in French, and sometimes with also the French subtitles. So you know, that's really interesting. And then I also had some yoga, you know, some yoga video in French. So all of this is available. It's currently, if you don't remember where to find this, you would go to LFNO. Go back to LFNO, and you click on the on the COVID update thing, the first link, and then here, if I can, you have the resources, and here you go to academic resources, And at the bottom, if you click on French resources, it's gonna, oops. It's this one. It's the first one. It's gonna take you back to that list with all of the resources, and some of them are listed here. So in case you can't find them. So that's kind of like, I just wanted to like go over like the resources, answer some more questions. So Jeff, if you have more specific questions or like specific skills you're looking to I don't know, to do with your kids this summer, I can like maybe answer your specific questions, but you know.
Oh, no, I'm good. This is more than enough. Thank you.
Okay. So, but thank you for coming. I guess that was good. I was able to cover a lot. I don't know if I know we have another participant. I don't know if your audio is not working, or if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. So Jeff, I just want to make sure, since you're still here, that I mean, did you have were you expecting other things to be covered?
One of my questions was just to kind of see and feel where you all were with as far as how school's going to return next year. But that might be a premature question.
Yeah, and that's so that was not that's not the goal of this, you know.
Right,
like,
I figured as
really
much. So.
Kind of like to support parents, and honestly, also it's like it's really, you know, everything is changing like day after the other. So the thing is, like, I think as soon as the leadership team will have a plan that they feel comfortable enough to communicate with the parents, they will do that right away, because I know it's on everybody's mind. Like I want to know what my kids are going to be doing next year. So you know, as soon as something concrete will be ready, it will be communicated.
Not a problem. I can hop off now. Then
I think so. I mean, I think that's just you. So at this point,
oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much
problem.
for coming. And then if you have other questions throughout the summer, you're welcome to come to another meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Oh, wait 1 second. Hi, Molly.
Hi, Sophie.
I'm so sorry. I'm like, this is my first time using Zoom, and I was like, I got started and I didn't notice that I had 2 people still waiting in the waiting room. So I really apologize. Did you have any questions? We can cover them now.
No, sorry, and then I didn't realize it was still on. That's very funny. I walked into the room.
Oh.
No, I was just logging on because I thought it was such a great idea to do an interactive discussion.
Yeah.
So I'll join next time.
Okay, so, but I mean, that was the goal of it, was really to answer any, you know, if you had questions about the summer resources or what you could be doing mostly in French at home, because I know this is much harder, and you know, so.
Yeah, no, thanks. I don't have any specific questions right now. I'll give it some thought before next time.
Okay, sounds good.
I mean,
and I'll be better at letting people. It's just, I think I shared my screen, or like I was too focused on like responding to questions already, and then I missed you. So.
It's
No, no,
okay.
I-
Actually,
well,
I had dropped off the call.
Oh, okay.
And
And
so
sorry,
I had,
yes.
mine was the kindergartner. And so when it dropped off, actually my wife got in her car and
Okay.
it went to the Bluetooth in her car
Yes.
and the audio
Oh,
died. And so then when
okay.
I told it to switch back, the app crashed. So I relaunched it and it was like, she's going to let you back in. I was like,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
I was just saying, I'm like, I didn't notice that I had two people in the waiting room. And because, you know, I guess I went into sharing my screen and I didn't notice. I guess since it was my first time using Zoom, I don't know all of the signals yet. So I will get better next time. But Scott, did you have any specific question for kindergarten?
No, we don't speak French at home. And so for a kindergartner coming in sort of raw and new to it,
Okay.
we were afraid to have him kind of stressed about it, but we've been very casual about it. And we found these like BBC, Mozzie,
Yes, those are great.
kind of things, little cartoons to just kind of make it fun, like a treat kind of thing. But
yeah, I think that's great. That's how you should approach it. Did you get the resources from that the pre-K team sent to their current student was for like basically rising kindergartners?
We got the list that was sort of a matrix of different resources and links.
Right, that's what it was.
Okay, yes. So I started looking through them and then I realized that I'd need like Google Translate or something for some of them, which is okay.
For some of them you do. Let me just share back my screen because now I won't have anybody in the...
You know, what I could do is just, I don't know, is it going to be the same thing every week? Because I could just call next week.
Yeah, it's basically going to be the same every week. I'm just going to be available to answer questions. So like, actually, if you want to explore some of the websites and you have specific questions, because I know, I don't know if it's the pre-K4 team, and I know one of the websites that the French teachers love, it's called Logiciel Éducatif, and it's very, very messy. When you don't speak the language. So, but sometimes sometimes that's what I was planning on doing is like, by having, I don't have to share, yeah. Just by showing a little bit how you navigate the website, it's sufficient to help the non-speaking French parents. And then I'm just curious, do you use Chrome?
Yes.
Because my first recommendation would be to add the how is it called, the Google Translate extension.
Yes, we do that a lot.
Oh, you do? Okay.
My brother's in Germany. My wife's father's family is in Ghana.
So
you know,
that's the basic things that can help, because you know it's gonna. If you really don't understand something, it's going to give you an idea. Unfortunately, it's just Google Translate, so sometimes the translation is inaccurate. So you know, it ends up not being so helpful. But at least it's a start. So
okay, great.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you too, because if you weren't a lycée parents last year, and during the distance learning, I created a bunch of resources for parents. So let me share my screen again, and I'm just going to show you where to find those if you're looking for extra stuff. So if you go, I'm just going to I just did that. If you just go to the Lycée Français webpage, so lfno.org, then you click on the COVID-19 updates and resources right here.
Okay.
And then, so I'm going to go down a little bit. And then you're going to go to the tab that's called Academic Resources. Okay. And then it's all the way down because, you know, the French resources are all the way at the bottom, and you click on it. So then you have several resources, but the first one here, it's a Google Doc actually that I created for parents, and I try to make it so that it's grade. It indicates which website can be used for which grade level. So you have a few additional resources. So like, well, I wouldn't use the CNED. And sometimes I put like some stars when it's not, it's difficult if you, to navigate when you're not a French speaker. But then you can scroll down and then you have some extra resources that you can maybe explore if you want. I have some like digital books that are available. Like it's a really long document. So you just have to look for like pre-K. You know, for you, you will be looking pre-K or K, but usually if it's K, you also have pre-K. And then it tells you if it's free. Also, a couple of like great resources you kind of have to buy. If it's a digital book, sometimes you have to buy it, but it tells you if it's free or not. So you can also use that.
Super.
Okay. Well, sorry, I didn't let you back in.
No, that's okay. It's totally, you know, I'm a little bit of a Luddite, you know, technophobe. But that's okay. I will log in next week.
Okay.
And I'll just listen in then.
Sounds good. But like, you know, what seems what you've been doing is the way I would go about it. Like just do some exposure, watch some like little cartoons, watch the alphabet in French, you know, things like that would be really good.
Okay, great.
So, okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.